Red Zone Sports Bet. Wham, bam, thank you, Uncle Sam.
Welcome along to Upping the Ante in association with RedZone.bet with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch, and we are on to week 14 in the series. And Gavin, 14 weeks in and we still haven't tipped a winner.
No, well hopefully that changes now next week.
Yeah. Obviously it's an anti-post show, and obviously we won't know until 8 days time how many winners we've tipped in the series so far.
The good thing about this week is that you don't have to feel guilty about looking up Betfair and Odds Checker every day.
No, because everybody's doing it.
Yeah, well a month ago you might, think you have a bit of a problem, but now it's fine.
No, Gavin, you definitely don't have a problem. And obviously, this is the time where preview nights are everywhere. You can't even have a pint in your local pub when you're being interrupted with Cheltenham preview nights, and they are everywhere. And I have been on the circuit, Gavin. I've been on the circuit, a few little nixers. We all need a few extra bob. And I'm going to give you my 5 biggest takeouts from the Cheltenham preview night circuit. The Cheltenham preview night certainly that I've been at in the last fortnight. Number 5 is that Paloma Blue.
I've heard his name before.
Paloma Blue runs in the Racing Post article, Gavin. Paloma Blue, who has been criticised for his jumping in many quarters, including by you and me. He can't jump. But anyway, he schooled in Clonmel last week with Puppy Power Award, Robbie Power, and jumped brilliantly, apparently. Yeah. Keith Dunn, who schooled alongside him, and said he jumped great. So that is Paloma Blue. Number 4, I was at a preview night with Gordon Elliott last Sunday week in the Cross Guns in Nobber. And Gordon Elliott's charity bet that night was Cartwright in the Martin Pipe, who is freely available at 25 to 1. Number 3 is that twice I've asked David Casey who he thinks is Willie Mullins' best chance of ending his Gold Cup hoodoo. He's got 4 runners in the race. He's got Bells Hill, Alboom Photo, Ken Boy and Invitation Only. And twice, without hesitation, he has said Alboom Photo. Number 2, I was at a preview night with Daryl Jacob, who was excellent, at the Riverside Park Hotel in Enniscorthy on Saturday night. And Daryl said that Ajali, who runs in the Triumph Hurdle, he says he works better and that he's a better horse than We Have a Dream, who ended last season as the best juvenile in training. Daryl says Ajali is better than him.
Well, Fakir Dream must be a certainty for the Supreme.
So Fakir Dudare is certainly that form would be enhanced if Ajali did run up the form there, but I don't think he did. And number 1 is that Jamie Codd, yes, the best amateur riding at the moment, Jamie Codd. He's been booked for Measure of My Dreams in the Kim Muir, and he says it's probably his best chance of riding a winner at the 2019 Cheltenham Festival, Gavin.
Okay.
We might come to Measure My Dreams later in the show. Now, Gavin, this is the time of year when you excel. You're an anti-post Cheltenham punter. Yes. That's the reason you're paid the big bucks to come on here every week. That's the reason you're standing in that position, and what we want to know is now. You have to prove how good you are. We want you to tell us your 5 best anti-post wagers heading into next week's Cheltenham Festival. So number 5.
Number 5 down on the list here is definitely Desai. It's only 5 to 1, 4 to 192ish. But I've had a lot of money on him. I just think he should be favourite. I think he's got a massive chance. He's going to go for the JLT, which is great, instead of the Arkle. I'd say possibly that's why he drifted last week, because people thought he was maybe going to switch.
Well, if they watched Up in the Ante, you would know that he wasn't never going to switch.
Yeah, when the Richburg came out. So definitely saw you put in just
5
because
to 1.
The volume of bets. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, Gavin, is Blue Sari. What price have you backed Blue Sari at? Who's currently available around 4 or 5 to 1?
Yeah, 12 to 1. The form of his bumper in Gorham Park, nobody knows what's any good. The second horse slipped up and aced at the bend, but I just thought at 12 to 1. Now I didn't realise the time End by Allen was going to run the race. Gordon had said previously that maybe he wasn't going to go to Cheltenham, so that's a pity, but yeah, he's got a good chance. Okay, number 3 is Honeysuckle, who's currently vying for favouritism with Epatante in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. Gavin, what price have you backed Honeysuckle at? 14s.
You haven't. 14 to 1?
Yeah. She has a good chance. That was obviously before she won the Grade 3 in Fairy House, so she's unbeaten. She's won the point-to-point, the maiden hurdle, she won in hurdle, she won in Fairy House, so yeah, she's got a good chance.
Honeysuckle at 14 to 1?
Yeah.
You're my hero. Number 2 is, of course, it has to be Tiger Roll.
Yeah.
Gavin has backed Tiger Roll at 9 to 2, 4 to 1, 7 to 2, 3 to 1, 11 to 4, 5 to 2, 9 to 4 and 2 to 1. You can work out how many bets that is. But Gavin, your whole Cheltenham Festival revolves around Tiger Roll, and not for the first time.
Yeah, it'll be a huge help. The kids might be on beans and toast now if Tiger Roll gets beat.
So the kids are relying on Tiger Roll?
Yeah.
What a bad dad. But he's obviously, he's like the captain of your team.
Yeah, he's the Sergio Garcia. You can just rely on him every time, hopefully.
Oh, Jesus, I hope he runs a bit faster than Sergio hits his shots.
Yeah, no, he should win. amazing comeback in Nav. Nobody expected. I didn't back it, so he certainly he's got a favourites chance, hasn't he?
And number 1, Gavin's best anti-post bet going into the 2019 Cheltenham Festival is, now I say bet, but it's actually bets, because it's a whole host of trebles, and we're going to show you them on the screen here just to prove that we are speaking the truth.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing here, but so
explain.
I've done numerous multiples because if you want to get a bit of a touch of Cheltenham, you have to do some multiples. That there is a single in Benny Dew, but then I did 4 horses. I did we did Benny Dew, Paisley Park, Tiger Roll, and Sir Eric. Those 4.
And at prices, we're looking at 2-1 Paisley Park, 2-1 Sir Eric, 5-2 Tiger Roll,
and 3-1 Benny Dew.
And 3-1 Benny Dew.
Between myself and a friend, we did 4 400 trebles and 1 400 Q, so I've half that. So just sure they're good value, and hopefully they have a good chance. One of them runs each day, so we'll have an interest in each day anyway. Yeah, you certainly will. And just so viewers are watching this, they probably want to know, when on earth did you get those prices? But it wasn't that long ago. It was exactly 4 weeks today. It was the day after the Dublin Racing Festival.
Okay.
And I just thought that Benny Dew would go there, and that Apple's Jade, having won the Irish Champion Hurdle, would go to the Champion Hurdle, etc. So. And
for people watching here, they want to know, when is the best time to start having bets for Cheltenham? Any advice on the time?
I definitely think the day after the Dublin Racing Festival.
Well, it certainly looks that way.
Yeah, no, it's good because a lot of horses have run their last race before Cheltenham. So.
Okay, doke. So they are Gavin's 5 best anti-post bets heading into the Cheltenham Festival. So viewers will know next week if you had a good week or a bad week. You have no secrets from our Upping the Ante viewers.
I'm not here next December before them won.
Yeah, they're speaking about having a 52 week Upping the Ante next year. That'll be interesting. Yeah. Okay, so the handicap weights were revealed last Wednesday, and myself and Gavin, we've been scratching our heads, we've been studying the weights. And Gavin, what I want you to tell me is, who are the top 3 handicap snips in the weights? Now you're going to go through a couple of races.
Yeah. We also have to just do a little bit from last week as well, but we can do that maybe after the handicaps.
Gavin, there's plenty of time, yeah?
Yeah. And the Ultimate, the Brown Advisory and the Grand Annual, I personally can't make head or tail of them.
Well, that's a good start.
I do like a horse later on, Kim Muir, and I do like a horse in a while.
Okay, so the 3 races you haven't worked out yet are...
Can't work them out. Is the Ultimate,
yeah.
The Brown Advisory and the Grand Annual. I know you fancy 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, we'll come to that later in the show, yeah.
The handicap hurdles, the county hurdle, obviously Wonderlate may be interesting for people. We'll see closer to the time. For temps, I have back Sire de Berlay at 823. The Coral Cup and Martin Pipe can't decide yet. Eurodel is up 137. Probably gets into the Coral Cup, and there's a good chance you've tipped it up.
You think he will get into Coral Cup, number 80 on the list?
I think, well, based on the last number of years, he probably should.
Yeah, but based on the last couple of years, his number on the list wouldn't get him in. His weight will get him in because Mischievous Max got in up 135. But I think in the last 5 years, I don't think any horse that was number 80 on the list got in.
Right. I'd go with the ratings more so, but yeah.
Okay.
So if he ended up in the Martin Pipe, I'd like him in the Martin Pipe.
Okay.
But then the Martin Pipe is a good race for novices and stuff. So. And then the Fred Winter, no bet yet, because I wanted to see what Joseph was doing with Gardens of Babylon, Fine Brunello, Band of Outlaws, Canito and Starmax. He's 5 in it. He looks to have the best 4-year-old, so I'd be very interested in whichever horse Joseph goes from the Fred Winter. What do you think of the handicaps?
I think Band of Outlaws, don't be fooled by the fact that he is top weight. He's a far better horse than a rating of 139. Eurodel as well handicapped, but I don't think he'll get into the Coral Cup, and the one I like in that is actually Wicklow Brave at 33-1. Yeah, I think he's got a cracking chance.
And you said Le Président for the Grand Annual?
Le Président for the Grand Annual, yeah. He's only a pound higher than his winning mark last year, so I think he's got a cracking chance. And I'm going to tip a horse in the Brown Advisory Plate later on in the show, and the Martin Pipe.
But just, the handicaps are tricky. I think it's 4 favourites out of 63, so just...
Yeah, you have to think outside the box.
Yeah, don't come
That's what I like about them, yeah.
There was a couple of horses there in the last week, just worth a small mention. Pentland Hills bolted up by 16 lengths last Monday in Plumpton. It's 16-1 for the Triumph. On Saturday, you'll be glad of this, Rouge Vif won a grade 2 in Kelso, which did Master.
He's a proper horse.
Yeah, Mr. Fisher then.
Why, Gavin, will you tell me this? Why is nobody talking about Mr. Fisher? I'm the only one, it seems, in Ireland or England that fancies Mr. Fisher.
I suppose maybe.
He's hammered Rouge Vif.
Yeah.
He's won a trial that has worked out well at Cheltenham at Haydock. I think he's better than Angel's Breath.
What is he, 10 or 12-1?
Yeah.
The other thing is Getaway Trump, who was 4th in the bet for a hurdle, only beaten 6 3/4 lengths by Al Dancer, was beaten 14 lengths. So that doesn't say much. Maybe
again, Mr. Fisher.
Penn Hill was unfortunately cleared out for the stairs. Waiting patiently, he's not going either. Vindication is not going. A couple of things to note as well. Noel Mead had 4 out of 4 over the weekend, so his horse in good form. I have written down here performance of the week. Did you see Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper?
Where did she run?
In the Oscar Singing Shallow.
They're definitely having it off, aren't they?
You reckon?
I do, yeah. Yeah.
So I thought for me that was performance of the week.
It's the most open affair ever.
Presenting Percy, did you see that they turned the fence around in Galway?
I did.
And his price shortened from like 5.7 changed to 5.2 because he jumped some fences. So
I love the intrigue around presenting Percy.
Yeah.
I know everybody absolutely hates the fact that Pat Kelly won't speak, but I think it adds to the excitement because everybody is just intrigued by presenting Percy.
Yeah, he's the people's favourite, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Decision on Sam Crow's tomorrow, Tuesday.
Don't think he'll run.
I
would advise punters not to back Sam Crow unless you're getting no bet. The vibes I'm getting are that he won't run.
Yeah, well, I suppose most firms are betting on a bet because it's one of the big race of the stairs. Espardan has been given the green light for the Champion Hurdle in the last couple of days. He's 16 to 1. I think he's going to run a big race in the Champion Hurdle. He's won 8 out of 9 career, 7 out of 8 over hurdles. I think he has a bit of a chance. And just to say, in the last couple of days, there's been a big drift on Santini for the RSA in the exchanges. He's now 3rd favourite.
Yeah, rightly so.
And Delta Work is favourite. So.
And rightly so. There you go. The market is copping on to the chances of those 3 horses. Now it's time for questions from the crowd, and the first is from Ramstein Red, who says Defi Desai will definitely go for the Arkle. OK Corral is a mug bet in the 4-miler. Presenting Percy has not jumped a fence in public this season. His trainer is either very confident or very stupid. Which is he? Is Pat Kelly very confident or very stupid, Gavin Lynch?
He's definitely not stupid. Any man that, he's got, what has he got? 12, 15 horses? And he's trained a winner in Cheltenham the last 3 years, so that man ain't stupid. So.
And OK Corral is a mug bet in the 4-miler. You're a mug, so?
He'll certainly travel. You just wonder, will he stay? He's got the right man on board, Derek O'Connor. He's going to be trading very short, I'd say 2 or 3 out. But
and Ramstein Red says Defi Desai will definitely go for the Arkle.
No.
Rubbish.
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Basher Watts. Good man, Basher. Hi guys, what's your view on footpad going for the Ryanair? Presuming Min goes to the champion chase. Surely a fit footpad wins the Ryanair, hard held, even though he hasn't been at his best this year. 6 to 1 looks huge. Is 6 to 1 huge about footpad, Gavin?
It's probably very fair if he shows up. I would have a slight worry with the trip. He's won twice in Otay over 2.5. He did run over 3 miles once when he didn't stay. Now, obviously the Ryanair's 2.5 is not 3 miles. But at the same time, all his 7 runs over fence have been 2 mile or 2.1. I just wonder, there's a bit of rain coming. If the ground was soft, would he definitely stay? Now I don't know what I'd back in the race, to be honest.
Oh, it's a head scratcher.
It's very tricky. Top notch, Frodon, Monolith, Storyteller, Undeso. I think I'll just leave it. Okay. Hopefully you haven't mentioned the winner in Balgo Flow. And our final question from the crowd, it's Keto Diet BTW. Whoever you are, Gavin, a lot of the stats you say are crap because the sample size is too small. Defend yourself. Stats. Look at that for hard work. Look at that too.
Are they all your stats?
That's all my notes, all my stats for Upping the Ante.
Wow.
Well, so the stats.
Keto Diet BTW says they're bullshit.
That's probably a bit harsh. You must be a Man United supporter. I did the stats on 6 years every race. That's 165 races. I was checking age, which country they were trained, novices or not, weight carried, their price, and who trained and who was the trainer. So that's 990 bits of information. It took
990 hours, I'd say.
About 10 or 12 hours to do it. So if it's a small sample size, possibly, but it actually, I think it's worth keeping an eye on it. Okay. There you go, Keto. Okay, now it's time to bring in Kane Calvin from our sponsors at redzone.bet. And our first question to you, Kane, is what price do you predict Sir Eric will SP at in the Triumph Hurdle? And not including Altior, what horse will SP at the shortest price at Cheltenham?
So it really depends on how many other contenders take their chance in this race, but we reckon Sir Eric will go off around evens, which is what he currently is. As for the shortest SP apart from Altior, I'd say Benny de Deux is the most likely to go off short. There's still scope for a price to shorten further, and that's really dependent on what lines up against her on the day.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Benny de Deux is going to go off very short.
I don't think she'll go off odds on. I think she'll go around even money, but I could see...
Seriously?
Yeah.
What, how?
We haven't seen her in so long, so... a lot of the time the mares favourite the mares race drift. Didn't last year, but a lot of the time, like you saw Quavega drift every year.
I'd be shocked if she goes off odds against.
Around even money I would have said. I think that Sir Eric will go off even money or touch odds on, yeah.
Do you think Sir Eric will go off a shorter price than Benny de Deux?
I'd say it'll be very tight, possibly, yeah.
Okay, we'll have a pint.
Done.
I'll go for Benny's to do. We'll go off shorter. Okay, and our second question to you, Kane, is who has been the best backed horse with Red Zone in the handicaps since the weights were revealed last Wednesday?
So Dallas Des Pictons in the Martin Pipe has been the best backed horse with Red Zone since Wednesday. Gordon Elliott has won the last 2 renewals of the race, and he's made no secret of the fact that he thinks he can make it 3 in a row with this one. We also saw money for What's Wrong With You in the Grand Annual after he won at Fontwell. Despite the rise in weights, he still seems on a fair mark and could yet show further improvement.
Okay, Gavin, so Dallas Des Picton is a very short price now in the Martin Pipe.
Yeah, he's got a good chance, but I don't know why he's 5 or 6 to 1. It seems very, very short in what's going to be a 20-odd runner handicap.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now it's time to show your portfolio so far, Gavin. And it is quite a portfolio. For people who are watching who have missed the last 13 weeks, shame on you. But here you're getting a look at Gavin's fancies so far. So they're really cheating. They're getting all the results without watching the 13 shows. Okay, so here we go. Malone Road 8 to 1, now a non-runner, bad start.
Yes.
Lawler 7 to 1, now 11 to 4, great start.
Yeah.
Larichburg 28 to 1, now a non-runner, disaster. Tiger Roll 9 to 2, now 10 to 11, fantastic. Penhill 8 to 1, now non-runner. So hold on a second, Gavin. You're actually a magpie. 3 of the first 5 are non-runners. It does get better. Okay.
It's post betting for you anyway.
Yeah, it is. Road to Respect 18 to 1 now, 14 to 1, small chance.
Small chance.
Honeysuckle 14 to 1 now, 3 to 1. Waiting. Oh, geez, we've another non-runner. Waiting patiently 8 to 1 now, non-runner, but it gets better. This is more like it. OK Corral 3 to 1 now, 11 to 4 for the National Hunt Chase. Blue Sari 12 to 1 now, 9 to 2. This is good, Gavin. Fakir Didare 11 to 1 now, 9 to 2. This is brilliant. Sir Eric 9 to 4 now, 10 to 11. Defi Desai 6 to 1 now, 130. Betty to Do 2 to 1 now, even money. Delta Work 4 to 1 now, 2 to 1. Uccello Conti 7 to 1 now, 5 to 1. That is some page.
That's a good page.
That's a brilliant page. And finally, Alaho 16 to 1 now, 11 to 1. Dinons 28 to 1. Big buzz horse at the preview night. Dinons 28 to 1 now, 11 to 1.
I think that's 20s. But anyway, go on.
And Classical Dream 11 to 1 now, 13 to 2 for the Ballymore. Gavin, that's good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No, we'll keep you on next year now. That's quite good. Win, lose or draw, you've got the value. So now, Gavin, it's time for the most important part of the show. It's time for our next band of selections for the 2019 Cheltenham Festival. And to add to those lists, I'm going to start.
Okay.
I'm going to start because we want to get people watching till the end of the show. And my first selection is a horse for the Brown Advisory Plate, which none of us have tipped a horse for so far. And it's a horse called Janika, owned by Isaac Swade and Simon Muneer, trained by Nicky Henderson, ridden by Daryl Jacob. I think this horse could potentially be next year's Ryanair Chase winner running in a handicap. I think he could be a Grade 1 horse in a handicap. He's had 2 starts in England. He finished second to Hell's Kitchen, which is really good form. That was Hell's Kitchen on a going day, off a mark of 145. He was second. He was outfought by Sir Delac over the same course and distance. There was 9 lengths back to the third that day. I thought that was a good run. He was just a little bit too keen in the early stages. He's up to a mark of 155, but if I think he can win next year's Ryanair Chase potentially, he'd want to be winning this off 155. He oozes class, Gavin.
Yeah, the two of them, they're more or less joint favourites now, aren't they, for the Brown Advisory, so...
I think Janika will tank around that race. So Janika is my first selection. He's 12 to 1 at the moment, but RedZone.bet are enhancing that for upping the ante viewers to 14 to 1. So 14 to 1 Janika for the Brown Advisory Plate. My second selection is in the Martin Pipe, where Dallas Des Picton has been the best backed horse of the week with RedZone.bet. But my selection was last year's third, Early Doors.
Okay.
Who I think has been constantly underrated, because 20 to 1 Early Doors I think is a big price. He is 18 to 1 at the moment with RedZone.bet. They're enhancing that for upping the ante viewers to 22 to 1. Okay, Gavin, he was third in the race last year off 142. Yeah. He traded at 2.5 in running off the home bend, where he travelled really well into the race on heavy ground against a dour stayer and blow by blow. I just don't think he got up the hill. Wasn't beaten that far. I thought it was a lovely run. He's only £3 higher now. He's only had 2 starts this season, both in Grade 1s, both against Appleshade.
He couldn't even beat Appleshade. He
couldn't even beat Appleshade. These are shallower waters. And I think when, hopefully, touch wood, Joseph decides to run Early Doors in the Martin Pipe, which I think he will, I think that 20 to 1 will be at least double the price of what he goes off.
Just to say, he was ahead of Bapome and Leopardstown, and Bapome ran a cracker against Presenter Percy in the Galway.
Yes, yeah, Early Doors is a very, very good horse, and I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. So 22-1 Early Doors for the Martin Pipe. And finally, my last selection is for the Close Brothers Novices Handicap Chase, and it is the Tom Taft trained Riders on the Storm, who I am convinced will go off favourite. He's rated 139 in Ireland. He's only a pound higher off 140 in England. I thought he was idling in front of Punchestown the last day. I know the form has been let down by impact factor since, but he was rated 132 over hurdles. He's a fine, big, imposing individual. We are not going to see the best of him until next season, but I think 2 mile 4 Cheltenham, the way he jumps, the ease with which he travels through a race, I think it's tailor-made for him.
I'm a little worried that he stays 2.5. His 2 wins were over 2 miles.
They were, yeah. He hasn't really had to go at 2.5 miles yet, but I just think the race is made for him. He'll be able to jump at that fast pace, and he'll jump his way into contention. So my final selection for this week is Riders on the Storm in the Close Brothers. He's 9-1 at redzone.bet. That's enhanced to 10-1. They're not taking any chances. Only enhanced a point, and that's because they know Riders on the Storm has got a cracking chance in the Close Brothers. Now, Gavin, it's over to you, and your first selection is in the Kimure.
Yes.
Might we have mentioned this horse earlier in the show?
We did. It was actually funny. You texted me yesterday, what's your tips for today? And I said I had one for you in the Close Brothers. And I said I didn't know whether to go for It's All Guesswork or Measure My Dreams. In the Kimura, I'm going to wait to see what Jamie Codd rides. And then you told me that it was announced that he's riding that. So I'm going for Measure My Dreams. Although he's an 11-year-old, he's only had 19 lifetime starts. He's had 5 wins. He ran in the 2016 4-miler. He was beaten 7 lengths by Manila Rocco and Native River. In the last almost 2 years, he's only had the 1 run. He ran 3 weeks ago in Fairy House. Patrick said, we did a preview night for Facebook and for YouTube the other night, and he said he didn't like Measure My Dreams because he was a bad jumper. Now, he went up to the replay of Fairy House since then, and he jumped great. He made a slight mistake 3 out, but apart from that, he jumped fantastic.
And he was second to Manila Rocco and Native River in the 4-miler.
He was third. Yeah. So he has a bit of class, and he's used to the track. Just to say to you as well, that Jamie Codd, he's ridden 4 winners. He's ridden the winner of this race 4 times. I went through the history books. I think the second best jockey ever is like Ted Walsh, 1 or 2 others that have ridden 2. So he's won the most Kimures of any jockey, which has to be a huge help. The horse is number 37 on the ballot, so I think he's definitely going to get in. He's got an Irish rating of 137, and the English handicapper left him on 137. And just to tell you, here's more stats for you. We'll see if this bears out. 5 of the last 6 winners of the Kimure were rated 137 or 138.
Oh, lovely.
There you go.
I
think he's got a great chance. He doesn't have much mileage on the clock, even though the only negative, he's 11-year-old. Because Jamie rides it, he'll probably go off 4 or 5-1, and he has a good chance.
Okie dokes, that is Measure My Dreams in the Kimure. And your final selection this week, Gavin, is in the Close Brothers. We're taking each other on.
Yes.
Who do you think is going to beat Riders on the Storm?
At Plutard, I think Riders on the Storm will travel to the second last. When he sees the hill, he'll have a small little puke for himself.
He'll puke when he knows I tipped him, that's for sure.
Plutard, actually, I think shouldn't be in this race. I think he's...
that's a big statement.
It is. So I'll tell you why in a moment. He's a 5-year-old. He had 5 runs over hurdles in France, and he had 2 wins, including 1 at Auteuil. He was second going right-hand at Gorham Park, which wasn't that good a run behind Dr. Mikey. And then he comes out and he beats Duke de Ginevra by over 3 lengths in Naas, getting £7 because he's 5. The form of the race is fine. Duke de Ginevra won very well since. Now he's 6-1 to win the Arkle. I don't think he will win the Arkle, but say he'll probably be in the first 5 set. Behind them that day was Midnight Stroll, an expatriate who was also going to run the Close Brothers. And since then he ran right-handed at Punchestown when he was well beaten by Winter Escape, getting £14. The reason I think that he's definitely much better going left-handed. If you go and look at the video of Naas, his jumping was fantastic. He bolted up. He was very, very impressive. The reason I say I don't think he should be in this race is that he's got a rating of 144, but that's including an allowance of £7 being a 5-year-old. Okay, because he would get that. So his official rating is probably 151, less the 7 for the age. This is a 0 to 145. So I think it's just a class act in this race. Because he's 5, because he's come from France, he's had 8 runs. These French horses have loads of experience. Don't worry about the age. So I think he's a graded horse in the handicap.
Can I change my tip? No.
No.
That is a Plutard in the Close Brothers. 9-1 with redzone.bet. They're only enhancing him to 10-1, so that's a good sign. They might fancy him too. So we're taking each other on in the Close Brothers Novices Handicap Chase. Measure My Dreams and a Plutard are Gavin's latest selections in the Upping the Ante series. So that's it for this week's show, folks. Don't forget to join us next week for the final show.
Are we doing another one?
The final show will be aired next Monday, the day before the Cheltenham Festival. You can't afford to miss it.
Red Zone Sports got that. Wham, bam, thank you, Uncle Sam.